Hi, my name's Lyndon.
Hi, my name is Jasmine.
Hi guys, my name is Grace Damien.
Wally Damien.
My name is Neil Salangsan.
And I'm Maritza Esguerra Salangsang.
And
We've
have
been married for 5 years.
Are you sure about that?
5 years.
We've been married we're in our 13th year, so this year going on 14 years of marriage. But we've been together for much longer, about 22 years.
We're married for 43 years.
That was March 11, 1978.
We met through CABC, which is our church, our home church, before. And
We
yeah,
were introduced through a friend.
no, we met on Easter Cantata.
Yeah, through a friend.
Yeah, I guess. At the Faye, shout outs.
We met a long time ago, so we've known each other since we were kids because we grew up at the same church at CABC, and finally decided to date around the time I was 15 years old.
We were childhood playmates because we were neighbors. And our parents were good friends. They went to the same church. So, of course, we went to the same church also. And both our parents were involved in the youth group, and so were we.
We were dating for a long time already.
Actually, we were dating for 8 years. And we thought it was time to get married. Both of us had a steady job, and I guess we were ready to get married that year.
I was getting old.
How old? You were? How old were you then? Like 28, I'd say.
How frank am I supposed to be in this video?
You could just be honest. Go ahead. So, you knew you were ready for marriage.
I knew I was going to be ready for a marriage because we went through some hard times, and then from there I realized that it was worth fighting for our relationship, and I knew that Grace was the one I wanted to marry, and it made an easy decision. And then from there, in my eyes, the relationship completely changed, and it was all about when are we going to get married instead of if.
Yeah, I agree. We went through a lot of obstacles for sure. Time was definitely a factor in helping us decide when we were ready. We had been together for 8 years of dating before Wally proposed. And just reflecting on those 8 years together, we had seen each other go through a lot of milestones, overcame a lot of obstacles, and just really blossomed. Our relationship just really blossomed, and we could see that just as we grew up together in youth. And so, just journeying life with my best friend, I figured, we were doing life already so well together, and this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. Moving forward, so yeah.
Yes.
I think for me, it was more about a commitment level. And I had already prayed about it before I even met you or even started dating, that this was something that I was going to be serious about. And I really prayed to God that, the next person I would meet, it would be something that was for real and that was something I was going to settle down with.
Yeah. I think for myself, we were dating for 2 years, which isn't exactly a long time. And a lot of prayer, a lot of, this from you. And I think it was just timing wise, we both felt, God put us in a place where we're ready to take the next step. And that's what, each couple is different. Some couples do 10 years, but we did 2 to 3 years, and we thought it was a good time.
Yeah.
Was it easy living together?
At the
No.
beginning? No, definitely not.
It was not. It was a huge adjustment for both of us. And it may have appeared, like it was good times for us, but our marriage specifically, I think, was really rough in the beginning just because we butt heads a lot, and we're quite different in personality. I'd say.
Yeah.
And it was a tough transition, I think, just living together in the first year or two of our marriage. How do we split up responsibilities?
Beginning was hard too, but now we
Yeah.
sort of kind of got the groove of things. We know our strengths and weaknesses are. We know what we enjoy and what we like to do.
Yeah, I mean, you do a lot of the cooking now, whereas in the beginning it was a little bit more split, even. I do the garbage, just make sure everything is in order in the financial side, and we're in good order, good standing of where we want to go.
Okay, I can go first on that one. I think I just did the most. I think generally it was easy. There were some things I needed to get used to. Like I'm very neat and tidy, and living with a boy kind of got hard because he would, for example, leave his clothes on the ground, and that would just really bother me. And I just was honest and said, it bothers me to see clothes lying there. Would you mind, please? I said it respectfully, and I'm just really grateful that I have that Wally was really understanding and accommodating, and it didn't take much for him to agree to my expectations and demands.
So first, she was living with a man, not a boy.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
And second, she said that she made the biggest adjustments, which is might not be true, because I had to adjust quite a bit with all the little things that she's telling me to do, which I wasn't accustomed to doing. But the whole adjustment wasn't hard at all, because knowing that you're together, this is your new life, you love each other, so changing for the benefit of your spouse wasn't that hard to do. It just seemed like there was a lot of things that had to change, but it wasn't hard at all.
Did you think I needed to change anything?
No, because I'm not picky.
Really? You don't think I would argue?
It wasn't. What was I demanding?
Some adjustment living together. Your alone time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So just honoring that, even though we lived together and everything was kind of now forged into one another, that we also had to respect each other's own individual space, and that took some learning, like a learning curve as well. But yeah, everything takes time, and in time you find your balance, and we found ours.
I think the hardest adjustment, for me, was going to bed at like 9:30. Because Grace used to go to sleep that early,
Yeah.
and then I'd have to wake up at
So there's-
11
Right. But there's compromise for sure.
just so I could play video
Right.
games.
It was not really difficult because we were married in the Philippines, and we had household help. We had our first child after 3 years, so we were already adjusted with each other. And since we had household help, we were able to focus on our parental responsibilities.
We belong to a Bible study group that meets every Friday. And aside from that, we go out on dates, the two of us, and sometimes we go out having dinner or watching a movie. And sometimes we bring our kids and go out for lunch or dinner.
This one is fairly easy because we were married for 5 years before we had Val, and we went through times of trying to have a child, but it never really happened. So we had a lot of conversation about focusing on our relationship. So when God finally said, yes, you can have a child, we already put a lot of rules or expectations that we should always have a time for ourselves, because when the kids get older, we can't be strangers. We still need to be able to grow in our relationship. So we always said we should always have time for ourselves. So that's a date night
Right.
that we've implemented from then.
So for more routine, more practical routine ways of prioritizing our relationship, we would have those date nights. We would pick a day of the week, for example. Sometimes that fell off the wagon and because life got busy, but then, and that's normal, I think. But then when we would notice that we were missing those elements, we would come back and say, hey, we haven't had a date in a while. So trying to go on a date on a weekly basis. And it doesn't have to mean necessarily go somewhere, but just to have some time out for each other and to even watch a movie together at home or maybe make a meal together. That for us was time together. That was significant. Also, yearly trips, like we would try to go away together. We really love to really love to explore the world and learn more about people. We're passionate about people and relationships, and that's something we have in common. So we made that commitment to explore do something new, a new experience together every year. We try.
Forgot about that. COVID kind of made me forget about traveling.
Yeah, and of course, like you said, keeping Christ center and all of that, even from the start, and that's just carried through and transcended into our lives up to this day. Whether it's devotional time, weekly prayer time together, just everything is intentional. I would say everything is. It takes away from spontaneity. I get that, but I think life just gets so busy that sometimes things need to be planned if they're a priority and if they're that important.
I think for us, we really like the outdoors and just taking walks. I love hiking and anything camp related, so I'll find as many opportunities to get out of the home and
out of the city too.
And out of the city. And I think you are more of the family oriented person in terms of always wanting to spend time with family, and us fused together. It was kind of a cool fusion of now we could spend time with family outdoors. We still spend a lot of time with we still spend a lot of time connecting with your family and you reminding me to spend time with my family, and I think those traditions, developing that family orientation has been really healthy for us.
Yeah, but as a couple, I think we're more spontaneous too. We don't really have set things or set date nights. We kind of just say, we're free, let's do this.
Yeah, let's go walk in the park or let's go play. And and we just like our TV shows together at night. Nothing, I'm not really into board games.
No, me neither.
Yeah, or any of that sort. I prefer my art time as well, and now that we have Rowan to we're getting him into that creative field.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. I would use the word learning curve, or words, sorry. That's 2 words.
Learning curve, okay.
Because just looking back at our own marriage, it's just we've learned every single year how to get better. Yeah. And then another word is also compromise. As well.
Any loving words like you like loving? What fruit of the spirit has marriage developed?
For us?
Oh, for you specifically.
I mean, for me specifically, it was more of patience. That definitely really sticks out because it took a lot for me to really understand who you were and how to go around it. So if I needed to either approach you or figure out how we're going to get over a hurdle, I need to know your personality and learn how to approach. I guess
I'm so chilled though.
I don't know.
Cool. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, for me, marriage, I think, you mentioned, I guess in the previous take, pursuit, which is great. I think marriage is a pursuit, to something greater, and for Christians and for ourselves, that's, the mimicking Jesus Christ and his relationship with the church, and that is, the ultimate representation of marriage. And pursuing that, I think having that in mind is huge. Sometimes we lose track of it. A lot of times we lose track of it, and it can get in the way of conflict and whatnot. But pursue it. What makes marriage unique and different from any other human relationship? I think same thing. It's that higher goal in mind. Like, you don't have that with friendship. You don't have that with your pets. That relationship with your pets. I don't treat you like a pet.
I hope not.
We're on equal ground, and recognizing each other's faults and being forgiving of that is huge. And realizing your own, and realizing where you fall, I think is huge. And being able to own up to that and work on it.
I think what comes up to my mind is more like teamwork. We've learned to work together. At the beginning, we didn't really have that much teamwork, but as we grew together, we learned each other's strengths and weaknesses, and worked on that to be able to get better.
Teamwork makes the
the dream work.
Dream work.
Okay. Words to define it. Who goes first?
That's you.
Is it me?
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty sure.
Okay, I would say humble teamwork. I think marriage takes a lot of humility. Laying yourself down for your spouse. We said, like Wally said it earlier, adjustments and making compromises when you love somebody. It's just something you do, right? Even if it's hard, you make a way to put that person ahead of yourself. So humility definitely, I think, would be a defining word. And teamwork, I say, and I don't mean teamwork just between myself and Wally, but I know with Christ. So it's really teamwork between three. Like I picture like God as our coach, and we're going through life trying to make life work and be successful and be good stewards of the lives He's given us, even as a couple, and the relationship that we have. And so I feel like God's really, He needs to be there coaching us, guiding us. So that's why I think teamwork is a good way to describe marriage. How about you?
Prison shackles.
Stop.
A trap. No. Marriage is, again, sometimes people perceive it as that, where they go, why get married? Because it feels like you're trapping yourself, you're handcuffing yourself, you can't enjoy other things, and
Right.
you're not free.
Yeah.
But in reality, marriage has been amazing. You're a unit, you're a family, you're a team. You grow together, you get better. There's always improvement, right? And there's just unity once you actually work together.
Yeah.
And again, without being selfish or keeping track of who did what, and I'm only going to do this if they do that. Like, you just give, right? And Christ being in the center, and love is in the center. All those selfish thoughts and all those things that I said earlier about the shackles and everything, that's really more when you start looking at yourself instead of looking at us.
And prioritizing yourself.
Yeah.
I think it's unique in that marriage is unique than compared to any other relationship, because you're bound by a covenant. Like, you can walk away from, you shouldn't, but the reality is if a friendship's not working out for you, or a relationship at work isn't working out for you, you have the choice and the option to just walk away and cut that, if it's negativity, that negativity out. But when things get hard in a marriage, there is no exit. Like you're in it and you're in it for life. And so that covenant, I think, makes it that defining difference between any other relationship on earth. And because leaving or walking away is never an option, I just go back to the defining words of like humility and teamwork. Like you've got to find a solution that works for the both of you, because there is no out. This is for life. And so with God in the driver's seat coaching, he'll get you through anything.
The Bible study group that we attended, the book that we studied is More Than Love. The author is Will and Jackie Chevalier. We had learned a lot in that book, and the definition that we have learned in that book is that marriage is not finding the right partner, but being the right spouse. It's not giving 50% of yourself or 50% of you and 50% of your spouse. It is giving 100% of yourself and your spouse. That's what makes marriage unique.
And that's what we practice as well. We believe in direct communication with God. It's the only love triangle permitted by Him. He is on the top of the triangle, and in every decision we make, we consult with Him in prayer.
Really, it's spending time with God as well. I notice every time that I'm further from Christ, the less patience I have in our marriage. So I'm easily agitated, or I'm just looking out for myself. I become more selfish, more prideful. But the closer I am to Christ, the more I appreciate my wife.
And maybe also more willing to oversee, like to look past my shortcomings.
You don't have any shortcomings.
Oh, I thank you. He's so... Okay. Okay, go on.
But every time it gets challenging, and I think I've told a lot of people this before, but I always say that the wife is only mandated to love their husband, but great.
That's okay. Go. What were you saying?
Wife was just supposed to submit to their husband.
Oh, yeah.
But
Not
then
love, to submit. Right.
The husband needs to love the wife just like Christ loved the church. Right. So, and we know how Christ loves the church. So, for the husband, always to remember that. And for me, that's like always a reminder for myself as I become prideful or I don't want to fix something. I always think about what Christ has done for the church and what He's done for me. So as a husband, I always have to go back to the truth, and I need to love my wife as Christ loved the church. And that's always been my guide in their marriage.
Right. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, actually. A lot of it kind of it aligns with that. Just to add on to what you're saying, I think also another way we've kept Christ Center is by surrounding ourselves with couples as well, like in the same season of life, our friends who share the same faith as we do. To have that support system, I think is so vital, because you need people you can relate with, and so really gravitating to people who are encouraging, who we can depend on. If I'm feeling like I'm not being heard, or I'm feeling down or discouraged, I know I can reach out to a friend of mine who's maybe experiencing the same thing as a wife too, in the same kind of area. And sometimes they're able to shed some practical light, like so biblical wisdom, but also practical light on the same issues that I'm facing, based on their experiences and what they are going through with their spouse. And now, like, even as we graduate beyond just being husband and wife and now having kids, also it's an amazing feeling to have the same people who you're journeying with in life who are believers, because now they're having kids too, and it's just just so great to be a part of that, because then you don't ever feel like you're in the dark. Like there's no problem that ever comes your way that becomes too heavy, or in the zone that you're in is never too dark when you're with other believers. So that's how we've also placed Christ center of our marriage and in our lives. Also ministering together. I think we really make it a point to live our lives not just individually for Christ, but also as a unit, as a couple, to minister to other couples, to go do missions together, or even in a church plant, be part of that. But everything we do together, hand in hand as husband and wife. So yeah.
Practical ways to keep God at the center of your marriage. Pray. Number 2.
Be intentional
Be intentional with what?
with doing devotions together and praying for each other and with each other.
Okay. I like to, sing worship songs or play worship songs throughout the day. I think that helps us, it's good reminders for us to just be thankful.
Yeah.
Every moment is a praise, every moment is an act of worship. So, just keeping that in mind. I can't sing for the life of me, but I will try at home, and it's a personal thing, right? Like, singing is a very personal thing. I won't necessarily sing in the choir.
But you've tried.
No, I haven't. No, for like 20 years I haven't.
But you do sing, and I think a worshipful heart is much more important.
Yes.
We're doing life together with y'all. We're not experts in the field, but we do know that we feel that when God's in our corner, that we can face it all, right? And that's really all there is. I know it sounds simple, but honestly and truly, as God, just following Christ's example and the example from the Word of God, the Gospel, reading His Word, knowing who He is, His character and His being, and trying our best to emulate that as individuals, and applying that in our marriage. I think that's really the advice I have. Like, it's not easy, but God loves us and He forgives us. So it's a really good reminder to do the same for others, especially your spouse.
Advice: marriage is fun.
It's tiring.
I don't know.
Okay, it's fun.
And it's actually not that hard.
Okay. I'll remember that from when next time.
It's really, marriage is fun. It's just sometimes when we listen to the media or the shows, marriage is portrayed like, as I said earlier, where it's just a trap.
Yeah.
And
The perception of the world.
that's a misconception. When marriage is done right,
by the standard.
it's not a trap at all. It feels like you're never alone, and that's what there's always somebody there, that you're working together, you're both encouraging each other, you're both helping each other, so that your support system
For each other, yeah.
are each other. And then with Christ in the center, that as you guys drift apart, all you have to do is come back to Christ, strengthen that relationship with Christ, and you guys will come closer as well. So instead of going after, if we're having a hard time, instead of me chasing grace, I chase God, and then it'll happen, and I'm getting closer to grace at the same time. Right, so that's basically advice.
That's what we have for ya. Yeah. Thanks, guys. See ya.
I think that's good. Okay, let's stop recording.
Thanks, guys.